Hi folks, in this video I'm going to cut and assemble this reversible tote bag with Cricut Maker and my Cricut EasyPress. Keep watching! The first thing I've done is cut 4 pieces of fabric, 12 inch by 18 inch each, and 2 pieces 20 inches long of cotton canvas strapping. I've then ironed on fusible interfacing to the back side of each piece of fabric. And now we're ready to cut out our pattern with our Cricut Maker.
Okay, so now we're going to cut the 4 pieces of fabric to make the body of the bag, of the tote bag. I've got my rotary blade loaded and my Cricut fabric pen loaded to draw my seam allowance. And we're going to go ahead and press go. The Maker is drawing my seam allowance, which I absolutely love because it assures that I get my seam straight. The seam allowance drawn by Cricut is really, really helpful. I love to watch it work. I'm going to start cutting. Okay, so I'm going to unload my mat. I'll take away the excess fabric and I'll come back and show you how the cut was done. I'll be back. So you can see that the Maker cut my fabric, my bonded fabric, perfectly. As I mentioned earlier, I used a heavy fusible interface on this. It cut perfectly. The squares that are cut out are for my gusset. I have my seam allowance drawn by Cricut, and this goes edge to edge because it's not a line that I'm going to sew right away. That's a fold line to make a nice press on the top of the tote bag. So I'm going to finish cutting the rest of the pieces and I'll be back to show you what I do next. So I've got all 4 pieces of my pattern ready to assemble. First though, I'm going to take out my EasyPress. I'm going to press the tops, and also because the inside will be a plain gray and it is reversible, I wanted to make it a little whimsical, a little fun. So I made a decal in Design Space to kind of match the pattern on the outside that I want to install with my EasyPress. In the middle, obviously, not on the side, but I'm going to do that at the same time. I made this decal by taking a leaf pattern, slicing it in half, duplicating the good half with the point, flipping it over and welding it together, and then I duplicated it for the white and the gray to go on top. And it's not exactly the same, but when the bag is reversed, it'll match the lining and it'll be really cute. So I'm going to get my ironing pad and my EasyPress warmed up and I'll be back. Okay, so we're back and we're ready to start the pressing portion of this project. So I folded down along my 1 inch allowance at the top. I folded down my fabric. This is going to be inside and under the reversible layer, so I'm not going to finish it twice. I'm just going to press this down. It isn't going to take much pressing, just to keep it in place while I pin it for sewing. There we go, that's good. And now on the gray layer is where I want to put my decal. So I'm going to line that up where I want it. It looks relatively in the middle, I hope. That looks pretty good, I think. Okay, so that's where I'll put the yellow layer. Well, okay. There we go. So we'll put that on here. And I'm only going to press it for about 10 seconds because I'm going to be putting 3 more layers on it. This fabric is cotton, so I'm using 305 degrees. And I'm just going to go 10 seconds. There we go. Let it cool a bit so I can peel the cover form, the carrier layer. The cover form, the carrier layer. Make sure it's well adhered. It is. There we go. Now I'm going to put the white layer on, again for just 10 seconds. That looks good. I think this is going to be fun because it'll match the lining of the bag. I think that'll be really fun. I will. That looks pretty good. There we go. And now for the last layer. Oh, I like this. It's cute. So I think what I'm going to do is just put this back on top to protect the other layers while I'm pressing, because I'm going to be pressing for the full time this time. So here we go. 1 arm of pressure. As always, the EasyPress doesn't require a lot of pressure. Almost done. And we're done. So there we go. I'll take this off. It's cute. It's going to match the inside fabric on the bag. I'm going to continue to press the tops of all 4 pieces, and then I'll pin them, and I'll be back before I sew to show you what I've done. We have our good sides facing each other on the inside, and I've pinned around. I'm only going to be sewing the 2 sides and the bottom. I won't be sewing the top at all until I put the 2 bags inside, one inside the other, and sew them together. So we'll put that aside. I'm really happy with the way this decal turned out. It's kind of cute. So I'm going to put these face to face. And I'm going to pin around the edges and get them all ready to sew. And I'll be back. So I've got both pieces sewn. I've sewn, as I mentioned earlier, along the bottom and up the sides only. The tops will be sewn at the end when I put the 2 pieces inside of each other. And I'm going to go press my seams flat, and I will come back and show you how I pin and sew the gusset to get the flat bottom, the square bottom. So my seams are pressed out flat now, and I'm ready to move on to sewing the gussets. So what I'm going to do is open the bag, I'm going to take the bottom corner that's open, unsewn, and I'm going to line them up seam to seam and flat like that. I'm going to pin them, and I'm going to sew about a 1/4 inch along the bottom. I'm going to do the same on both sides, and that's what's going to create our square bottom. I've included in the file and in my file an insert for the bottom that I did one for my first tote bag, and I did it with heat and bond on the fabric and just pressed it onto the mat board, and it turned out really, really nice. I'll try to make time to do a video for that too. So there we go. We're going to do the same thing on both bags, on the open corners, and then we'll be ready to put them inside each other and install the handles. So I'm going to sew up the gussets and I'll be back. So now we have the gussets sewn on both sides, on both bags. So all there is to do now is to turn the bags inside out, and we're going to get ready to install the handles. That's nice. This will be the outside. And this one we're going to leave inside out and put it into the first bag. Line it all up. We're going to get it all straightened out and pinned. Line up the side seams. And we're going to put our handles in and pin them. So I'm going to be back to show you how I did that. Be right back. So we're just about ready to finish this bag. I love it. It's really pretty. So what I've done is measured out 4 inches from the side and from each side, and on the 4th inch I've pinned this handle. I use cotton canvas strapping for it, for the handles. What I've done is measured 1 inch from each end, and I'll insert the strap between the 2 layers of bag and sew them in. So I'm going to do it like this. I will line it up with the handle that I measured, insert it between the yellow and the gray bag, and I'll pin it there. So when I sew around the top through everything will be secure and in place. There we go. And we'll do the same on this side between the yellow and the gray layer. I hope you can see that. So I'm putting it between the yellow and the gray layer, and I'm going to my measured mark of 1 inch. There we go. Make sure both handles are the same length before I sew them in, and they are. So we're just going to line this one up with the other. That looks about right. That should be good. And I'm going to pin that one in. And there we go. So the handles will be on. So what I'm going to do now is sew a 1/4 inch seam all the way around the bag. That will close the 2 bags together and make it reversible. And then we'll have our handles installed and we'll be done. So I'll sew that up and I'll be back to show you how it turns out. So here's the bag. Handles installed, all sewn together. I love it. I'm really happy with how it turned out. I'm going to turn it inside out to show you the reverse side.
So there's the other side. The pattern matches what we have on the inside. You can do logos, do your name, do a little funny saying like I did on the red bag. Do whatever you like, whatever you feel like. So I hope you like it. I hope you've enjoyed seeing me put this together. It's been loads of fun. I'll be sharing the file along with my video, and I hope you'll make some reversible tote bags and show me how they turn out. Thank you for watching.